Hello, welcome to this presentation on the Languages and Intercultural Studies Department at Heriot-Watt University. My name is Owen Harrington-Fernandez. I'm from the Spanish section in Links, as we call it, and I'm going to be giving you an introduction into who we are as a department and also telling you a little bit about our approach to studying languages at third level. And you'll probably find that our approach is a little bit different to the traditional model in that we're a lot more geared towards industry and helping you gain the kind of skills that will help you forge a career in the languages market. And hopefully by the end of the presentation as well, you'll have a keen sense of our commitment to maintaining high standards year on year and our commitment to helping and nurturing our students through their undergraduate journey. I'd like to begin just by pointing out or earmarking the year 2021 because it's the year we celebrate 200 years at Heriot-Watt University. So we were founded in 1821, and the group of students, the 2021 cohort, will be a particularly special group of students because they'll be part of that historic celebration at Heriot-Watt University. And at the Languages and Intercultural Studies Department, we're celebrating a birthday as well. So it's been 50 years. 1970 was the first year that a degree in translation and interpreting was offered in Scotland. And you could see that from the very beginning, our approach to language was very much based on practice, on practical elements of the language. It's not just about learning how to speak a language, but it's about learning what to do with those languages. And that philosophy was there then, and it's a philosophy that we still have today. And that approach is represented in our partners, our international partners. So we are a founding member of CUT, which is an international organization which oversees excellence in teaching, interpreting, and translation in universities. Our British Sign Language BSL degrees are accredited by the relevant bodies in the UK, the NRCPD, and the relevant body in Scotland, the Scottish Association for Sign Language Interpreters. And we're also a member of the Chartered Institute of Linguists, which is a membership body for language professionals, which aims to enhance and promote the value of languages and the value of language professionals. I'd also like to turn your attention to very good results that we've attained recently. So in the National Student Survey, the NSS in 2019, we had an overall 92% student satisfaction, and 100% of students said that the staff were good at explaining things. And the reason for that is because our staff, we're all academics, but we're also linguists, professional linguists. A lot of your teachers at Heriot-Watt University will be people that have worked as interpreters or have worked as translators. And we take that experience, that real life experience of the job market, and we bring it into the classroom and inform our classes with that experience. It's also probably the reason why we were voted #1 for employability in Scotland in the Garden University League table in 2018. And generally, Heriot-Watt University is very strong on employability, and it's a record that we are very proud of in links as well, because we're always in and around the 95-96% of graduating students in employment 6 months after the end of their degree. And individually, our sections, our language sections, always perform highly as well. German being ranked 3rd in Scotland recently in the Complete University Guide. And one of the reasons why we continue to register such positive results is because of that approach to languages, that philosophy that I mentioned earlier, where we teach a language not so that our students can speak the language, but so that they know what to do with that language. And because we are geared to industry, if we split the jobs market, the languages jobs market, into 5 different categories, so from A to E in the pyramid in front of you, what we can do with staff that has the expertise and staff that has the experience of working in that market is we can prepare our students as best as possible to have the essential criteria for jobs in that A bracket, specialist linguist jobs, or to have the kind of skills, the desirable skills that would make them stand out in jobs in the B bracket and the C bracket. The really important thing to remember when you've got a second language and even a third language is that you become part of the elite. In the UK, only 6% of the UK population speaks more than 3 languages. And our graduating students become part of that 6%, become part of that elite group of people in the UK that can offer a specialist service. Our linguistic profile is as follows. So normally our students will study 2 languages, sometimes 1, sometimes 2, depending on the degree program. But at Heriot-Watt you can study French, Spanish, German, British Sign Language, or Chinese, which we offer as part of the International Business Management with a Language degree, which I will speak about in more detail further down the line. But normally you'll study 2 of these languages, and you don't need to be proficient in both languages. You can start one of those languages from the very, very beginner level with one of our intensive courses that we offer as an elective. So, for example, you may have studied French in high school or in secondary school, and you fancy carry on studying French in university, doing a translation and interpreting course with French, but you also think having a second language is important, and you might start German from the very beginner level. That is always possible in one of our degrees. And of course, we shouldn't forget that we also help you develop your skills in English. So your reporting skills, your writing skills, your analytical skills in English, which we think is absolutely crucial for students as well. And this is the menu of degrees that we have on offer, so to speak. And it's a good time for me to sort of make clear the differences between what is interpreting and what is translation, which if you have very little experience in the field, you may not be aware of. But interpretation is the term that we reserve for when we use our voice to interpret something from a different language. So it's all voice. It's all speech, and translation is the word that we use to describe the transfer of meaning via a written text. So it's a lot more to do with writing and with documents and that kind of thing. So they're very similar. Obviously, there's a lot of related elements between these two, but they also require very different skill sets, which is why we have 2 different degrees, one specializing in interpreting and one specializing in translation, though you will get to see both in each of these degrees. So the first one, AMA Languages Interpreting and Translating, will focus a little bit more on interpreting in 4th year, and the second one, AMA in Applied Languages and Translating, will focus on translation in 4th year. The good news about these and all our degrees actually is that there's a great degree of flexibility among them. So you can change degrees if you feel like the modules that you're doing in one degree don't quite suit what you really want to do. And we allow people to change from one degree to another up until even 4th year. So you're not shackled, you're not committed to doing one degree in your 4 years here. The third degree, the MA in Applied Language Studies, that's for people who really want to concentrate on one language, but also want to build their own degree, so to speak. So there will be a lot more space in your timetable to pick options and electives. So courses that are offered in our School of Social Sciences, that might be something like in economics or marketing, or even from the catalogue, the university catalogue of courses, if you fancy trying something like chemistry or mathematics or something like that. But we also strongly encourage our students in the MA in Applied Language Studies program to pick up a second language as well, even if it is from the very beginner level. The MA in British Sign Language, as I mentioned, is accredited by the main bodies in the UK, and it was the first of its kind in Scotland. The MA in International Business Management and Languages, this is a course that is becoming ever more popular, and it's 50-50 more or less, where you do 50% or half of your degree concentrates on business management, on doing modules in things like human resources, marketing, finance, things like that. And then there's the language element of it, where you'll be in classes tailored to the needs of people who are learning a language for a particular business sector. So there are 5 degrees. And now what I want to talk to you about a little bit is About these degrees in finer detail. So this one is the AMA in Languages, Interpreting and Translating. It's the one that focuses on interpreting that little bit more. So in year one, you'll do introductory courses. We'll concentrate on helping you build your language skills, learning, writing, speaking, hearing in your two languages. Could be French, Spanish, could be Spanish, German, BSL Spanish, could be any combination. And then in year two is when we begin to introduce translation and interpreting. So those more sophisticated language skills. In year three, you'll be on your year abroad experience, and then you'll come back in year four. And if you want to concentrate a little bit more on interpreting, you'll be staying on this degree. If you want to concentrate a little bit more on translation, you can do the Applied Languages and Translating degree, which is the same in year one, same in year two. Year three is your year abroad experience, and then you come back and you concentrate a little bit more on translation compared to the previous degree. This MA in Applied Language Studies is the MA that I said is kind of like a build your own degree. You see a lot more blank spaces on the timetable. So you see electives, you see options, and that is to give you an opportunity to try different things, try different courses from across the catalogue of the School of Social Sciences or from the university catalogue if you're interested in doing something that is less related to languages but that you think will add something to your degree. For in this case, your year abroad is slightly different because if in the first two you're studying two languages as part of your degree, say you're studying French and Spanish, you'll go and spend one semester in a French-speaking university, a second semester in a Spanish-speaking university before you come back to us. But in the MA in Applied Language Studies, because you're focusing on one language, you'll be spending the entire academic year in a country where that language is spoken. So if you're studying German, you'll spend both semesters in a German-speaking university. This is the British Sign Language degree, the first of its kind, as I mentioned, in Scotland, accredited by the NRCDP in the UK and SASLI in Scotland. One of the main differences between this degree and the other degrees that I mentioned is year three in this case is a work experience year where you work somewhere related to BSL in the BSL jobs market. So you won't be spending that year abroad, you'll be spending your year working before you come back in year four to complete your degree. And lastly, it's the IBML, and as you can see by the makeup of the different years, a lot of emphasis placed on things like management, accounting, economics, alongside your language modules. And the difference here with the year three, again, is that you'll spend the year in, so if you're doing IBML with German, you'll be doing that year three in a German-speaking university. But it's not a random university, it's a university that we've handpicked, a university that we've identified as being appropriate and that offers the kind of modules that are going to add something substantial to your degree. So they're not just randomly picked universities. If you do IBML with Spanish, you'll be spending 1 year in a Spanish university where there's business management on offer. And just to give you a greater sense of what that year three could look like, these are our partners. So that European map shows where our different partners are located. We've got 10 in Spain, 8 in France, 4 in Germany, 3 in Austria, 2 in Belgium, 2 in Switzerland, and one that's slightly off the map in South America. We've got an agreement with Chile where we can send one student going into year three to a Chilean university for a year, and it's a fantastic experience, a much coveted place for our students going on that year abroad program. And as I was saying earlier, they're not randomly picked universities. These are universities, if you're on a program, a degree program with translation and interpreting, you'll be sent to a university where there is translation and interpreting. If you're on a business management and languages program, you'll be sent to a university that we've identified as being adequate and appropriate to what you want to get from your undergraduate journey. And I always like showing these pictures because they made me jealous at the time, and they still do a little bit. This is Emma Cartmill, who was who did IBML, business management with a language, and she did Spanish. She was in my Spanish class, and she sent us these pictures, which are brilliant. But hopefully, it helps you visualize what a year abroad program could look like. So this is Cadiz in the south of Spain, and hopefully, it shows that that year abroad program is about getting to know a different culture. It's about getting to know a different university system as well, and getting that life experience as well as meeting new people. And a little bit closer to home, I do want to talk about the facilities that we have on offer. So what you see in front of you are two pictures of the same lab of what we call HPILA, which is the crown jewel in our building. It's an interpreting lab built specifically to mimic the kind of things the kind of hardware and the kind of software and the kind of setup that you find in the EU Parliament, that you find in the United Nations headquarters, and it gives our students first-hand experience of using that kind of state-of-the-art setup. And we have three of those interpreting labs, as well as two language labs. We also have licenses for the main professional standard computer-aided translation tools, things like Trados, for example, if anybody's ever heard of Trados, but really important to have that as well, for anybody wanting to make their way in the translation world. We have a bespoke sign language lab as well, built specifically to help students practice their signing. We also have a self-study lab, which is open to all our students, and a recording studio as well, just across the way from our building, alongside or next to the library as well, which has just been refurbished. Beyond the classroom, we also always endeavour to give students as much of an opportunity to get real experience, real life experience. And the pictures that you see in front of you, it's what we call the Multilingual Debate. It's held every March at Heriot-Watt University. We invite a number of high schools to come and view the debate, and we invite speakers from different sectors of society, some native French speakers, native BSL signers, native Spanish speakers, and they have a debate using their own native languages. But crucially, what you see there in the booths, the white booths, it's our year 4 and our MSc students that do the interpretation, that provide the interpretation for this event. And the audience have their headphones, and they can change channels to listen to the interpretation being done from various languages into English. So it's a really nice event for us every year, but it provides our students with that crucial bit of experience, that crucial bit of real life experience. And similarly, we have what we call the SWATI event, the starting work as a translator or interpreter, where we invite people from the field, or we invite alumni, people who used to study at Heriot-Watt University, to give a talk on how they got started, to give tips to our current students and say, this is what I did to become a professional, this is how I got a job working for Skyscanner, or this is what I did to become a subtitler for Netflix. Things like that. And it's always really a good opportunity for our students, especially when they're in year 4 and they're already thinking a lot about what they're going to do when they graduate. It's a fantastic opportunity to see other people that were in their situation and to see how they forged a career in languages. And lastly, we have the Fiona Watson Award, which is given to a student who has achieved excellence in year 4. And the prize is a 3-month work experience in New York in the United Nations. And we see their pictures of the last 3 winners of the prize. That work experience is normally extended to 6 months as well. So it's a fantastic opportunity for one of our graduating students to go to New York and get what is really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to work for the United Nations and to be able to put it in their CV. So something that we're very happy and something that we work very hard to maintain every year. One of our excellent students gets to go to New York and get work experience in the United Nations. And this slide means that we're at the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for listening to me. I hope that you do have a better sense of who we are and what our approach is to studying languages in third level education at Heriot-Watt University. These are my contact details. So o.harrington_fernandez at hw.ac.uk. If you have any questions about anything that you've seen here today, or if you have any questions about anything that you've seen in the website, or if you follow us on Twitter or on Instagram, anything at all, I'd be more than happy to answer you. Feel free to write to me, and I will answer whatever questions you have. Thank you very much.